In this tutorial you will finally learn blueprint interfaces. We will send a message from one actor to another actor and that will cast an event. Well, not casting, because that's bad for performance. We will send a message with blueprint interfaces with 2 examples which you can follow along. Let's go. Let's compare blueprint interface with a warehouse. And a warehouse or a store can ship a message to somewhere else. Now this will be the transporter and it will ship to the receiving ending, which will do something with that package that receives. Let's compare it to the blueprint interface. This will be a message that will be sent through a blueprint interface that you can create an Unreal Engine, and then the receiver will do something with the package. And these steps will be shown right now. For this first blueprint interface, let's open up our content drawer. And in here, go to Blueprint, and then Blueprint Interface. The naming convention is BPI underscore, and let's call this one Shoot, because we will shoot some bad cubes, bad guys. Let's name this one here Fire. This is the naming of the function. And in here is read only. You do nothing in here. We add the logic somewhere else. You can add inputs and outputs, and I'm going to show you later on how this works. So compile saving is everything we need to do right here. Then let's add an enemy. So blueprint class of an actor. Let's name this BP cube. This is our test cube. Let's open this one up. Let's add our cube. And let's scale this bad boy up. Something like this. And let's drag this inside of our level. So right now this doesn't do anything, it's just a cube right here. But what I'm going to do is when I click with my left mouse button, this will activate and kill the cube. Or at least that's what we're trying to do. Here in class settings, inside of my cube, we need to implement the interface. So look for the BPI shoot. And then here in interfaces, here it is. And you can double click on this or right click and call this in here. And then we can say destroy actor. Okay, compile save. That's everything we need to do for now. But now when I play, I can do anything I want. It doesn't receive the message from me. So I'm playing in the first person template. So I'm going to go into first person, blueprints, and this is my first person character. We're going to add some logic in here. But also here, we go to class settings and also need to implement the shoot BPI. Here it is. And then compile. Okay. First, I want when I hit my left mouse button, then it fires, and then I want to hit my cube. So left mouse, this is the debug key that I'm going to use. And when I press, I will have a line trace by channel. I want to fire from my camera view. So get the world location for that, because this is where I am currently in my level. And then the endpoint, let's get here the forward vector, because I want to shoot forward. Let's multiply this. And let's create a variable for the range. Let's call it shoot range. An integer should be fine. Let's set something big like 5000. Compile. Okay, so we're going to start forward times 5000, and let's add this from our start location. So let's add one from where we started to here the endpoint, and that's the endpoint of my line trace. I like to set the visibility to camera. We ignore self, and we want to see for a duration of 5 seconds. So let's see red and green. This is simulation right now. Okay, I shoot my cube. Red is hit and green is, yes, it's successful hit through there. Okay, but it is not destroyed yet. And here comes the magic. Out of hit, let's break the hit results. Drag this open. And from the hit actor, this is the one we reach. And this is the one that I'm hitting. So let's see if it does implement the interface, because then I want to interact with it. Does implement interface. Let's click here and then find shoot, BPI shoot. And then a branch, because we need this condition. So we're going to check, did we hit something? So whenever this is done, then from an actor, how to make a breakpoint right here. Okay, And then let's call this message shoot, so the fire message. And then from here it will be connected as a target. And then I can drag this out. And let's test now. Left click and bam, it's gone. It's really gone. And I can also drag in a second one if I really need to. 1 and shoot 2. So this works. Let's delete this one. But we can improve this as well. Okay, so now go back here to my shoot, my fire function, and I can place an input. For example, I want to give through how many damage it will receive, and it will be an integer. So compile saves everything we need to do right here. And now I can see the damage here. And I can say, let's do like 50 damage here. So there's a logic I need right here. And in my cube, I can also see the damage. Well, let's delete this for now. And let's say I have a variable right here, the health of my cube, or my enemy. Let's start out with 100 health. And when I call this, I want to set the health. And let's get the health. And let's subtract from the damage. So I have my health, and then the damage goes out of it, and that will be my new health. Let's sprint this. So we can see what happens. Let's make it a little bit longer, a little more brighter. And let's print the health. And also let's have a condition that, here let's see my health. If my health is less or equal to 0, that will be the condition. Then we can destroy this actor. And let's hit play. So we can see 50, 0, and then it is destroyed. Because right now when I shoot in the same spot or different spots, it is destroyed. And this is all through this blueprint interface. And there are multiple ways to add various functions here for blueprint interface. And I can add this fire function on other objects as well. And in this example, I want to make sure that I can interact with all actors that implement an interface that I overlap with, which is also a possibility. So let's go once again, right click blueprint, and then go to blueprint interface. And let's name this blueprint interface interact. And the function, well, we can name this interact. And then compile, save that one. That's all we need to do for this. Let's also test this out. Blueprint cause an actor. Once again, let's create a test cube. Here you are. Let's make you bigger so I don't have to aim. And then let's drag this in on my level so I can interact with you. Okay. One more thing I'm going to do right here. Let's go for a sphere collision. And let's increase the radius of this sphere collision. So when I walk through it, and then I can hit an E key or an interaction key, and then something can happen right here. And I need to make sure, let's drag it out a bit. So my starting player point here is not overlapping. So I need to go to this, and then I hit my interaction key, and then something magical can happen. Okay. And let's also here go to class settings. And let's look for the interact, the BPI interact, which is now implemented right here. And the first one is to destroy the actor. Very visual to test things out, or a print string can also work. Okay, the rest of the logic will be here in first person, blueprints, and then the first person character. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a variable. And let's name this interaction actor. Let's click here, let's look for actor, and in actor we'll have an object reference, compile, and we can overlap with multiple things, so make this an array. Okay, then the capsule component here of my player will be overlapping with this of the cube. So what I can do here, right click, add event on component begin overlap, and we are also going to need an end overlap. What we're going to look now for is the actor that we're going to overlap, thus implement interface. Let's b-click to add this condition. Let's check for this first. I hit the Q key to line this up neatly. And then from here, let's get it. And what we can do here is add unique, because this will add what we overlap with. So in this case, the cube, to this one. And we need to specify what will be added, and this is this hit actor. So only when it implements this interface that I'm going to set here, interact, it will check if it's interacting, and then it will be added. Down below here, we can just copy paste this over with some small tweaks. So when we end the overlap from an object that also has this interact function, then we won't add it, but we will remove this item. And which item, don't forget to connect it, is that other actor, of course. So this is the basic setup. What we're now going to do, let's use the debug key of E. So when we hit E, when we're overlapping, then something can happen. So let's also get this one. Let's get a copy. Index 0, which means the first object we're interacting with. Drag this off. And I looked for the interact, which is the message, and I'm from pressed. And this should work. When we hit play, now I hit the E key, nothing happens. I'm overlapping, I hit the E key, the thing is destroyed. Fantastic. And you can add this from anything. So we added the cube, but you can also add enemies and other ones, and they can all have interaction with the BPI interact. I can implement this in many more things. So my player can also, well, it's very versatile to implement, of course. So what is happening? I'm overlapping with my player. The capsule is overlapping with my cube, which also has a sphere. And because it is overlapping, I am adding this as an actor. Or when I'm going away, it is removing it, so I don't need it anymore. And then it is sending this message. And this message will be sent to this event graph. Comes out here, and I say to destroy it. But I don't always have to destroy the actor, I can do other things as well. So let's change this up. Let's get the cube, and for example set a material, or do something else. Let's do something funky. So now when I interact and I hit the E key, well, it will change the material. So let's test this out. I hit the E key, I'm not close enough, I go through, I hit the E key. Wow, isn't this great? So this is basically how you can use interaction with Blueprint interfaces. I can have line traces, I can overlap. So what is needed? This one is giving through the message. Then this message will be sent. And because this event interact in this case will fire any logic that I apply through here, and it will be very good for your game because casting can be expensive. Well, I hope that helped. More tutorials on my channel. I see you soon.